Hey everybody, it's your boy Pee Wee back with another video. So today we're going to be doing a review of the manhwa Not So Wicked Stepmom, or I'm a Stepmother but my daughter is just too cute. Um, Essentially the basically whole genre of this comic is like a romance comedy, but it also has a lot of like child care and like our basically our main character, she reincarnates into the body of a queen, like an evil queen, so to say. Um, and it kind of plays out like a Snow White type like story where like the evil stepmother, the princess gets poisoned, rescued by the prince who end up marrying, and just basically getting a fairy tale ending. But essentially the plot of this one is our main character, her name's Lily Lee. She reincarnates into this Snow White fairy tale type of thing. In her previous life on Earth, she was a children's clothing designer. Basically, the only thing that she really got joy from in her previous life was making clothes for like children and watching them wear her designs and stuff like that. Which brings us to like basically the whole plot of this story. Like you could sum it up. This title itself basically sums it up. We have our princess here, who is like the daughter of our queen. Isn't her real daughter, but she's a stepmother. That's why it's called Stepmom, because this princess is from the previous queen. But essentially, our main character is just obsessed with this princess, not in like a bad way, but in a way of like how she just like she finds that this princess is the cutest person like in existence. Like she adores, Blanche is like the princess's name. She adores her more than anything else. But that's essentially the whole like kind of like workaround. Like yes, you have your fairy tale, you have your romance with the female lead and male lead. There's a bunch of world building because like they're kings and queens, so they have to run their territory and stuff like that. But one of the main premises of the comic and what it basically is our main character basically just wanting to make her stepdaughter like the happiest person in the world and like overly obsessed with our character. And it starts rough at first because the uh, previous owner of the body, aka like the real queen, before our main character took over the body, basically harassed the princess and basically just despised her because of how like cute and adorable she was. Um, but our main character is literally the exact opposite. Like she adores his princess. She wants nothing to do She doesn't want to do anything that could harm her, make her sad, anything like that. She just wants her to be happy, take care of her, and basically dress her up in her own designs and like clothes and stuff like that. Uh, but there's like four main characters to this. You have our female lead, as we discussed. We have our male lead, who basically sums it up is he's a good-looking piece of crap at the start of the comic. Later on, he does like uh, where's it at? Like they do end up, becoming more amicable and like falling in love, and like he slowly starts to melt. But at the very beginning, he's like a cold, mean, rude type person. Like he even basically destroys like the gift that our queen here, our main character, basically was giving the princess. He basically just destroys it because for like I don't want to say for no reason, but for good reason. Like our main character, like before she reincarnated, the previous owner of the body did tried to harm the princess. So like it's not like he doesn't have a reason to be, but he essentially, at the beginning he's mean, he's rude, he doesn't care about our female lead, anything like that, and he slowly melts over time. Obviously, there's reasons for why he's so cold, why he's so ruthless, mean, rude, whatever you want to call it. I don't want to get too deep into that in this video because if you do want to uh, read this, those are some like major spoilers. And honestly, you kind of have to read it to like get the same effect, like wow effect from it. So, but essentially, that's the plot of the story. Our queen wants to take care of the princess, basically wants to turn the cold, mean king, basically melt him, and, a romance forms, one big happy family type of thing. Um, but the art's pretty good. I will say the story building's pretty good. There are some good side characters, um, like right here, this one character is like Veritas, or I don't know how you really pronounce it, but basically he's like a magic mirror that can like talk with the princess, like the whole thing with Snow White and the magic mirror. Like he is essentially a magic mirror that the queen confides in and whatnot, and just talks to because she doesn't really have any friends other than this mirror. Um, but yeah, so there are reasons behind the cold male lead. This is a picture of the princess. If you guys were wondering what she looks like, the I guess while I'm here, I'll just show you. Basically, one of the reasons why the king was cold towards his daughter was because he always believed that she was like too timid and too pure. So he tried to like be cold and be like tough love type thing for her. Obviously, she's a kid, so she doesn't really understand that. But eventually, they have family dinners. They start getting along well. And basically, as of now, like I know the season one, I think it was, ends at like 160, and like I think the new season started. Yeah, the new season just started. But essentially, the overall, I think it's a really well done comic if you're looking for a way into, or like an introduction of sorts into like a type of like child care type story, or a just like a wholesome light-hearted story. Now obviously there are some dark themes, and there are some like really deep topics that come up in the story, in the backgrounds of some of the characters. So it's not like completely lighthearted all the time, but as for the interactions with our main characters, between our female lead, our male lead, our female lead, and the princess, um, they are pretty much as wholesome as, it's one of the most wholesome stories I've read, right? Where like I'm reading it and like I find myself smiling, as I'm reading it, just because of how the relationship between the female lead and the second female lead, aka like the stepmom and the daughter, just the relationship itself just makes this story for me. Like if we didn't have a male lead, we didn't have any world building of like kingdoms and stuff like that. Like none of that would have mattered to me. Um, just the whole like I wouldn't need any of that. Like if it was just the dynamic between these two that was all that was left, I would continue reading, because this dynamic between them is pretty much what makes this comic as good as it is. But yeah, I mean the art's pretty simple. I mean it's nothing like too special. Um, it's not like overly like exciting. It's not anything groundbreaking. It's simplistic, but I think it's done well, because when there is like a lot of detail, it's basically in like important moments, like where this one is like the flowers and stuff, basically just showcasing like how adorable our princess is and stuff like that. So I think the art's done well. I think the story is good. I love the dynamic between the characters, as I've already said. I would definitely recommend it if you haven't read any like child care comics, or if you have been thinking about what type of like rom-com villainous type thing you wanted to start or start getting into. This is definitely a good introductory comic to do so. I will say the romance is a slow burn, so if you don't like slow burn romances, you might not like this one. If you're looking for like an in-depth, villainous, she's not really a villainous like the previous owner of the body was. However, she's more like a fangirl obsessing over like her idol. Like that's pretty much the best way to describe this relationship. But yeah, that'll be it for this video. If you guys enjoyed, I'd appreciate if you kept coming back. Like the video, subscribe, help me grow my channel, so I can continue to do more reviews, expand, just basically get bigger, so I can create a community where I can just sit and talk with you and people in general about the comics that I love and comics I love reading. Um, but yeah, if there's anything you'd like me to review, read, check out, do let me know in the comments, and see you guys in the next video. Peace.